Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Parul.
Hello, how are you?
I'm quite good. I'm quite good. So, welcome to Parul. Welcome to everybody else who has joined. The first good news is if you are in this session, and even if you are registered for this session, you have taken the first step building a good career in cybersecurity. Cybersecurity happens to be one such domain which is in a lot of demand. Why? Because currently we are in a world where, irrespective of what kind of a company you have to be a digital first company. Even if you are a bank, you have to have a digital presence. You have mobile banking, you have internet banking. Even if say you are a pharmaceutical, you have a social media presence. So the more digital and you become, the cyber threats, the risk of cyber fraud increases, and hence the greater need for cybersecurity. So, first of all, welcome to everybody who has joined, and now you have taken the first step where you have at least made up your mind that you want to make a career in cybersecurity. So, congratulations to all of you. Uh, we will start with a small introduction. We will start with a small introduction of Antwork. So Antwork it's essentially is a edtech platform. We are based out of Bangalore, and the way we look at education is different from what others do. What we feel is that the professional education should be best taught by professionals who have been there and done that. We spend years doing academic education, but there is a lot of difference as soon as you reach the professional world, because the professional world is more experiential, more hands-on. Hence, we have experienced professionals who come and share their knowledge on Antwork. We have more than 3,000 experts from 30 plus countries who share their knowledge on Antwork. And so we will shortly start this, we will start taking the questions. But before that, what we will do is we will start talking about cyber security. All right. And so let me first introduce Parul. Okay, so Parul is a senior security consultant at Advanced Auto Labs. She was earlier a cybersecurity analyst at Accenture and a stock analyst at Cognizant. She has approximately 7 years of experience in information security domain as a SOC subject matter expert. She is a certified ethical hacker. She is a Splunk certified architect. Uh, she is also a Qualys certified VM specialist. So she brings in a lot of experience. She is interested in threat hunting and malware analysis, and security practitioner with a fair understanding of all security domains like CM, SOC, networks, VM, and compliance. She is also fond of dancing and traveling, and she takes dance classes in her spare time. So, Parul, welcome to this session.
Thank you so much, Sudhanshu. That was a great opening, and thanks for the introduction. I'm really, really glad to be a part of Antwork and this session. So thanks for inviting me for this, and yeah, really glad.
So we are understanding. I did a small introduction about cybersecurity as a career option, but I don't understand it as well as you do, having come from a non-cybersecurity background. So can you address the people who have joined, and can tell them why cybersecurity is such an in-demand profession right now? And in the last 7 years as a working professional, what have you experienced?
Sure. So I think cybersecurity has taken another level in last decade. And the major reason, as you already were speaking when you started the session, was everything is going digital these days. You need to order your food, you have an application. You need to get a cab, you have an application. You need to do your banking thing, you have an application. Everything. We are now heading to a digital world, right? So with the pros, definitely comes the cons as well, right? So there are a lot of intruders out there who are at any moment hunting for your data, hunting for your money, your businesses. And because every business is now going online, it is really important to keep those businesses cyber safe. And that's where cybersecurity come into picture. And I would say when it comes to the world of cybersecurity, sky is the limit because there are a lot of diverse domains, diverse roles, and I mean there are different streams that you can choose based on your areas of interest. And now with COVID-19 coming into picture and with gradual shift towards work from home, it is even more important. Earlier, it was like, okay, you need to secure your company network, your business. But now you need to secure yourself. You need to know what network you are connected to, what you are doing, what your kids are doing with the computers, because everything is super connected. And yeah, we are living in the Internet of Things.
Yes, yes. So guys, this is an open session. I will start with some questions while you guys can also ping your sessions in the chat group. We'll start taking questions from there, and we will also some of you will also get the opportunity to directly ask the questions to Parul. So, Parul, the first question that comes to my mind and comes to everybody who is in this session as well is jobs related to cybersecurity. So, as an entry level profession, say I am a fresher just out of my engineering, or I am somebody who is working as a network architect, a network engineer, and I want to move into cybersecurity. Uh, for an early professionals, what are the jobs, what are the career options available in cybersecurity?
Sure. So, as I was talking earlier, in cybersecurity, you have different streams, and you can choose to be part of any of those depending on your interest. If I talk about myself, started my career as a security analyst, as an incident responder. So that job is basically around you are managing a security incident end to end. What really happened? What caused that security incident? What was the root cause? How do you now contain the incident? What are the remediation measures? And what are the lessons learned from it so that you can put your defenses according to that so that the incident does not happen again. If you are somebody who are interested in doing such role, you can begin there. I can going forward in the session, I will share what are the skills that you would need to go or start from an analyst, from an incident responder perspective. If you're somebody who are more interested in the application security, as I was talking just few minutes back, so there are roles like penetration tester, vulnerability assessor, where you wear the hat of a hacker, but definitely being the white hat here, that you would try that, how you are trying to input into the system, what are the vulnerabilities, the loopholes that can be exploited to get into the system. So then there is a different set of guidelines and courses that help you reach there. If you're somebody who is more interested in the administrative part, for example, you are very good at one single tool or one single domain, then in that also you have multiple areas. For example, you can choose to be an IAM and admin, which is identity and access management. So, as the name itself says, you will be dealing with access roles of different people who should be able to access what. So, here you are trying to protect the authorization factor of the security. If you can also choose to be a network admin, right? So, there you would be probably dealing with devices like your firewalls, proxies, and you're trying to see that okay, no wrong person should be able to enter into your network, so you're protecting your network infrastructure, so you are the network admin there. Similarly, you can have roles like endpoint administrator, SIEM administrator, where you are particularly focusing on one very aspect of security and you are administering it end to end, be it deployment, be it monitoring, be it upgrades and things like that.
Okay.
And there are few more roles which are more process oriented. For example, the GRC analyst. GRC stands for governance, risk, and compliance. So when we come into the world of cyber, there are a lot of policies that you need to comply to. There are a lot of regulations that an organization has to follow. So a GRC admin keeps a check on all of these, and they vary like from one industry to other, like PCI for credit card industry or HIPAA for healthcare, and so there are a lot of roles like that.
I see.
Once you start growing into your career properly, then you move ahead to more advanced roles. For example, you can be a threat hunter, you can be a malware analyst, where you are really working on the ground level, reverse engineering the code which actual attackers use and trying to trace their path, actually hunting for the threats that could be present in your network already, but your tools and technologies were not able to detect. You can grow your career to any height. You can be a security architect where you are devising the entire strategy of your organization to be cyber secure. So, I mean, as I said in my opening statement, with cybersecurity, sky is the limit. So there are a lot of different opportunity. It just needs the right amount of skills and the right amount of attitude and interest towards it.
Right. Yeah. So we have a lot of questions flowing in, and more majorly are related to how does a fresher get into cybersecurity. So before we take questions one by one, the next question that comes to my mind is what skills as a fresher or as a lateral, somebody who's trying to transition into cybersecurity, what is the skill set that companies are looking for while hiring freshers? So say if you have to hire a fresher in your team, what would be the skill set that you would be looking at depending on the different roles that we just discussed?
Sure. So as I myself take interviews for freshers, so I think I can exactly quote the same process over here. So the first thing which happens during the screening process as to whom should be interviewed. So there are a few things that we typically look at. First would be the degree background, what the person is coming from. So definitely a bachelor's from a technical background is preferred, and like BE, BTech, BCA kind of in computers or IT. Having said that, I have also interviewed people from BCom and BBA streams as well. So I'll guide you on that. That how do such people make their career? What makes them stand out to be screened for interviews, right? And preferably, if you have a good understanding on cybersecurity and you have interest, you should be able to portray it on your resume, right? If you have done some foundation courses or even if you have read something, try to showcase it there. And do some courses, foundation courses, do some entry level certifications that might give you an edge just to get screened. Now, coming to the interview process, the skills that I personally look at is how good a person is towards understanding cybersecurity. Because cybersecurity demands a lot of analytical thinking. When you are amidst an incident, you need to know that, okay, maybe what led to this incident. You need to connect the dots back. So analytical thinking is really something that I look at. Collaboration and communication skills is another, because you will be dealing with 5 teams in one single shot. That okay, an incident happened, I need to communicate to firewall team to block the IP. I need to communicate to email gateway team to purge the emails, and you'll be talking to 10 different teams at a single time. So these are few skills to start with from the soft side. Coming to technical skills, I think foundation is really important. And when I talk about foundation, I mean very basic understanding: how do computer networks function? What are devices like firewalls or proxies? How do they work? What is an antivirus? What is the function? What are the different ports and protocols that come into picture when you are going online? And what are basic security even terminologies? You should be knowing what is the difference between, let's say, a virus and a worm, and what are a few basic attacks, what is the difference between phishing and phishing. And so yeah, because there are so many different areas that you can target, the skill set would be a little different that you would need. But these are some of the generic terms which everybody should be knowing. So yeah, these are a few things that I would probably look at.
Okay. And one more question as to what are the different career trajectories? You start a career in SOC, or you start a career in vulnerability and penetration. So what are the different career trajectories? Where can somebody who starts in cybersecurity as a fresher see himself or herself in 5 to 10 years? What are the different career trajectories that are available to people?
Sure. So I'll probably again take
ये अंदर मेरा ईयरफोन ला तो
my experience here. I started as an incident responder. Then I moved to, once I started understanding, okay, how does an incident is responded, then my curiosity went one step ahead that, okay, what rules I should be writing so that I get the correct incidents, not false positives. So I went into the SIEM administration part where I was writing the rules so that somebody else can get those incidents, right? So that was one level up. Moving forward, I went into consulting where I was suggesting use cases to different clients that, okay, this is something you should be looking at when you are, putting your cybersecurity monitoring under picture. Again, I moved one step ahead. I was more interested in threat intelligence and malware analysis. So I started working what are the different intelligence services that an organization can use. So I started strategizing that, and today I bring different vendors to my company, and they do different works. So if you see, the ladder could be anything. This was my trajectory. Yours could be anything. If you're into penetration testing, you might go into DevSecOps where you are now you know what are the potential loopholes that can happen in an application. So you can end up maybe working together with the development team so that those loopholes are answered at the beginning level itself. If you're somebody who's interested in coding and scripting, but still want to continue in cybersecurity, so you can take that trajectory. So, I mean, it really differs person to person depending on their interest.
Mhm.
Having said that, I mean, there are a lot of opportunities, lot of open roles, and if you have the right skills, you can probably a few years down the line, as most of the people in cybersecurity, what they aim to be is a CISO, which is a Chief Information Security Officer.
Mhm.
That's the kind of top level or the top notch goal that everybody professionals like us are for and look upon. So yeah, there
Sure.
are huge opportunities.
So we'll now start taking questions. And one thing is, which roles in cybersecurity require some coding experience versus what are the roles where a non-coder can also have a very comfortable career? So as you said, you have interviewed people from BCom, other BBA, those backgrounds. While I understand engineering freshers, they usually have some basic because of the first 2 years of their engineering. What are the roles where a non-coder can also have a comfortable career?
Sure. So I think I am from electronics background, so I was not having a background on coding. So one specific role is the incident responder that you can begin with. And I mean, just to reiterate here that, I mean, if you have interest, you can take up such roles, but there isn't any specific role out of all that I mentioned that would demand you like excellent coding skills. And in my experience, I have learned it on the job. So if there are things that needs to be done to get your job accomplished, I think you should have that rigor, you should have that initiative to do it on the job, even if you do come from a non-tech background.
Okay. So the first question is from Mehul. He says, how would you recommend that one starts a career in penetration testing?
Sure. So thanks for the question, Mehul. I think many will be benefited from this. If I may ask, what is your background like? Are you from engineering or doing any courses?
So Mehul, you can unmute yourself and answer that if you can.
I'm currently pursuing BE in Electronics and Electrical Engineering from BITS Planning.
Okay, awesome. So Mehul, if you have, I believe in electronic and electrical and electronics, you have a subject called as computer networks in your 5th semester. So that is one subject that you should be really focusing at, because you would get a lot of insights how things are happening in a computer network. Second thing that I would suggest you would be, if you're really interested in penetration testing, take up a ethical hacking course, because there they will tell you the basics, like what are the different codes that could be used by hackers. like the open ports, which which are really critical. You will be given exposure to tools like Kali Linux, your Burp Suite, which actually helps you in understanding that, okay, what is a port scan? Okay, what is password scanning? What is reconnaissance? These are the things that you should be focusing at, because with such courses, you get the background idea that what hackers have in their mind. So a penetration tester, as I said in the beginning, is nothing but a white hat hacker. So you have to wear that cap. So you have to think in that perspective. There are a lot of open source tools available as well. And one thing that I would really suggest you is do as many labs as you can, because when you're doing it real time, you get to know where you can go wrong, how things work. And there are ample free labs, paid labs, and a lot of free courses. And we are in digital era. You have things like handwork platform, YouTube channels. I mean, there are a lot of resources that you can connect with. And I'm sure all the best. I think you'll do good in penetration testing.
Okay. So one question asked by Venkatesh, we have already answered, as how can a fresher start a cybersecurity consultant? How can a fresher start in cybersecurity? We took that head on first. Coming to the next, Sharvari has this question: how do you start off as a security analyst?
So I think we took that as well.
Yes, yes. And Raj has a question: what are the challenges we can face as a fresher to enter in the info security domain? So information security domain, what are the challenges we can face?
I think the real challenge is to, I mean, if it's not really a challenge, but the limitation that one can probably have is cybersecurity demands upskilling at every single minute. I'm having experience of 7 years, but there's something different that I learn every day. And you have to keep yourself really updated with the current cybersecurity trends. You have to really, the advice that I would like to give is follow as many security blogs as you can, because let's say I'm an interviewer and I just asked you a question. Are you aware of the recent cybersecurity breach at Facebook? What were the actors behind it? I mean, do you even know the little bit of the background story, what happened? And if you do not really answer that, I would feel that, okay, I mean, the person might be not that updated with the current cybersecurity, because one cyber attack would be really different from the other. So to to be one step ahead of the hackers, you have to think even one step ahead, and you have to always keep updating yourself. So it's a ongoing and continuous process. So you really have to invest your time, your skill, and that curiosity doesn't have to go down. It has to just keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, one thing that I tell everybody is that success at the workplace or success as a professional is not just a factor of your technical knowledge. It is a combination of your technical knowledge and your other softer skills, like how do you know how good is your critical thinking, how are your problem solving skills, to an extent communication skills, even to as he said, how innovative possibly you are, because the people on the other side, they're really very innovative. If you keep up with the news that is going around, hackers find all the creative ways of getting into a system, whether it is an individual or at a company level. So there are multiple aspects to being a cybersecurity professional. And I see a lot of questions that are coming around CEH, right? So there are a lot of questions around this ethical hacking. It's saying that is ethical hacking, first of all, can have ethical hacking alone land me into a job? And secondly, is CEH a prerequisite for a job? So can I get into a cybersecurity job without a CEH course? And the other part of that question is, if I have a CEH, how sure I am of getting into a job? So these are the two possibly flips of the same coin.
Yeah. So let me first break that myth in the first go, that you don't need to have a CEH to enter into cybersecurity. I myself did not have it, and I got it like after 2 years of experience, or probably 2.5 or something into the industry. So And I think when I was talking about that question, that what am I looking into a fresher, I never mentioned CEH. And CEH is not like your entry ticket into cybersecurity. So do not have that kind of notion. Yes, having said that, I mean, CEH gives you an extensive knowledge on different cybersecurity terminologies, domains, whether you are trying to be an incident responder or an analyst or admin, because it gives you a lot detail into the fundamentals. It's like fundamentals class. So if you have to start really into from a very basic, I would suggest CompTIA Security Plus is something that you should first take up, because that is something which is more of a basic level. Because I don't want to be somebody who suggests you, okay, start from chapter 5. That's where the important question lies. But if you do not have chapter 1 to 4 in your mind, you won't be able to grasp chapter 5. Right?
Yes.
So that's how the chronology works. So CES definitely gives a boost to your resume. And when we are tracking for applicants, those keywords, they can help you in landing that into that maybe interview call. But once you are into the interview call, or even if you have cracked the interview and into the industry, it is your skills, your understanding on the ground level that will keep the show running. So good to have a CEH, and there are likewise similar courses as well that might not be as expensive as CEH, but would give you similar knowledge. So my single, to just brief it short, do not run behind certifications. It is good to have them, but focus on the skill set. As the Ranchor Das and Three Idiots said, right? Excellence ke piche bhago. So that's the real case scenario as well.
Okay. There are a couple of questions related to transition of experienced professional. So we have a question where Vaibhav has a BTech and an MBA, and he has a 4+ years of experience in marketing. He's pursuing now postgraduate program in cybersecurity. Will he be treated as a fresher when he joins a cybersecurity program, or if he lands a cybersecurity job, or will he be treated like that?
First of all, Vaibhav, congratulations and kudos. I'm really great to see people from different like MBAs and marketing having curiosity towards cybersecurity. So well done on that. You're coming to a really good field, so welcome there. And I think you have already taken one really good step, which is postgraduates in cybersecurity. So even when we are hiring people, postgraduate diploma or masters in cybersecurity gives you an edge over other people. And there are different brackets when you're being hired. So you do not really get hired as a fresher. You get hired as a lateral entry. So, for example, a lateral entry is somebody who is, if I have to compare you with the BTech freshers, it will be somewhere between 2 to 3 years of experience. So you will fall under that bracket. So do not worry about that one. And I think in your PG course, you would be undergoing a lot of foundation courses. So definitely you will be able to crack the interviews as well. And when you're doing a career switch now, I mean, you are taking a degree really well and good. There are people I've seen, like in my own experience in my own organization, somebody who is working in customer service desk. They have also moved to cybersecurity because they probably had the basic skills of communication, and they came and asked me that, okay, Parul, I'm not really satisfied with the work that I do. Can you help me? What should I be doing? So I think finding a mentor is really important if you can find someone. And and I think in today's world, we have a lot of channels like LinkedIn and Telegrams where you can actually reach out to people. And I don't think anybody would say, that, hey, please, I don't want to help you. Right. So finding a mentor, asking them that, okay, what's the trend like? I have this particular area of interest. This is what I'm doing. Tell me, is it wrong or right? Or what other paths that I can take? So today, if I have to suggest you, I know that you're already under a postgraduate program. You'll be having a lot of labs there, a lot of sessions there. Probably seasoned lecturers would be teaching you. So you'll already have that, basic mindset and understanding. Now, if you have to take up one single role, for example, because coming from a marketing background, probably you are very good with people skills. That's what like my first impression would be. So probably you can go to governance, risk, and compliance role where you are dealing with so many people that hey, you're a firewall admin. These were the security parameters that you should have followed. I'm auditing you right now. Are these in place? Then you go to some other team, let's say the endpoint team. You check their compliances. You check the organization compliances. In that way, your communication skills, your people skills are, which are already polished. You're utilizing them. You're doing the technical part. So yeah, I think that would be a win-win for you.
Okay. We have a similar question from S. Balabsubramaniam. He says that, what would be a recommended role for somebody who has an experience of 8+ year in MS SharePoint?
Okay, so MS SharePoint is, I think, one application which every organization uses because with the Microsoft suite of tools of Outlook and Teams and everything that comes. So with SharePoint, I think you have already worked with the network side of the organization that, who should be accessing SharePoint? What if the SharePoint goes down? How do you pull up the backup? And there'll be like 10 different things because you're a SharePoint admin, you would be able to tell more in details. But what my understanding would be, you should start from the network security side and slowly, gradually move into the application side because for 8 years you worked on one single platform. So I guess you have a mindset of being king of one rather than jack of all. So then you take up application security or one single domain where you are most interested in. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents.
When it comes to salary expectations, a lot of freshers who are, cybersecurity as slightly more lucrative and rewarding, and that is where a lot of youngsters are flocking here. So that is quite nice. So what is an entry level? What do you say? Salary expectations, say in different, say you SOC versus VAPT, other things. What are the different salary expectations for different people? And as you gain some experience, say 2 years, 5 years, is there a ballpark figure that we can say that this is how your career in terms of salary expectations is going to look like?
Sure.
One second.
Accidentally, I muted you, Parul. I was trying to mute somebody else. You'll have to unmute yourself. I'm so sorry about that.
I did that. I just saw and I did that.
Yeah, just that, when people enter the room, they are unmuted and there is sometimes news from the unwanted noise from their end. So I was trying to mute somebody else. I accidentally muted you.
No problem. So yeah, salaries definitely. Cybersecurity is a very booming domain. The market is really hot, and if your skills are really niche, you will get paid really well. That's for sure. I mean, I can guarantee you on that. So if I have to start like as a fresher, what is the general trend like, right? So it's not really upon the domain that you are entering, but how you are getting into it. You are targeting a service-based company who gives services to its client and therefore make money accordingly, or you're targeting a product-based company who are investing all their money to secure their own applications. So major differences lie over there. So I think in India we are more. Definitely we do have a lot of product-based companies as well. But when it comes to the basic recruitment drives that happen at most of the colleges, we end up into service-based companies. So even there, you have a good bracket of somewhere between 3 to 6, 6.5 or 7 that you can usually start with. And if you are into a product-based company, again, it really differs. So I myself have seen people who actually reported a bug on the Google platform with the Google Photos, which we all use but never even thought of, finding a bug in it. And he landed up into a package of 18 lakhs per annum as a fresher. So yeah, it really depends on what your skill set are, what you are able to project and showcase it to the company.
Yeah.
Having said that, I mean, once you are into the industry, I think more or less you are able to cope with the individuals, be it you are coming from different colleges or you are coming from different companies, be it product or service based, because now you're not selling yourself on the basis of where you're coming from or where you are going. You're now selling yourself on what you are capable of, what are your skills. So I myself have made my first switch in my career at the very small experience of 2.2 years, and I bagged 89% hike on my then bronze CPC. So yeah, it really depends if you can sell yourself that, yeah, this is what I bring to the table and this is what your requirement looks like. And if you can marry them both, I mean, yeah, I think salaries are really good in cybersecurity. And one bigger reason why you get paid well is because as we already discussed, right, it is a need of the hour. Everybody needs somebody who's good at cybersecurity, but the people with right amount of skills, they are really less in the market. And since I conduct the interviews, I've really faced that okay, even if you put 5 things on your resume and you're not able to deliver 2 out of it, then that is something I would not probably prefer, right? So that's how it works.
So yeah, having the right skills, and currently it is a huge supply and a demand gap.
Yes.
There are so many jobs in cybersecurity, but we do not have enough people who are skilled. So Antwork essentially is an effort in that direction. And we are launching a 16-week program, which will be driven and delivered by industry experts. So we'll have people from Accenture, Cognizant, people like Parul and others who will come and deliver this program. It will be delivered by industry professionals. You will get hands-on experience on all the requisite tools. You will have equal focus on different areas, and with the sole idea of getting you the skills that are required to get into jobs and excel in the jobs. We have a lot of theoretical learning, but Antwork is an experiential learning platform. You learn from the experiences of senior professionals, and that is what has been put into our 16-week program. So you guys will have the link for the program would be available in the chat box, and you will also get it towards the mail. So there is a question around, will the recording be available? Yes, the recording will be available on the events page post it is done. We'll share it on the email as well. So you can access the link to the program in the chat. We'll quickly move to the next question. But before that, we have a code as well. If you use that to register to the program in Parul's name, you guys will be able to unlock additional discounts as well. So you can avail this opportunity, right? Parul, we'll discuss about the program more towards the end of the session. But quickly moving to the next question that we have. I in fact have faced a lot of this from a lot of aspirants. Whether should I do a master's in cybersecurity, or should I, as a fresher, get a job, learn on the job, and then go for the master's or a higher education?
Sure. So, I mean, it really depends on your interest and on the kind of financial investment that you're planning to put in. With cybersecurity, on-the-job training is something that will teach you like the most, rather than having a degree or a course.
Mm-hmm.
But to get into that job, you might need a degree or a course. That is another story. So I would not say that, okay, do not pursue PG and, just come to the industry and start working. But I would also not say that, okay, go pursue a PG and then, you are good to go. But it has to be a mix of both. So if you're really interested to go learn on the job, that, okay, I really want to get my hands dirty right away, that, okay, what's happening in the cybersecurity space. Go get yourself there. I mean, within 2 years, you'll yourself have that feeling that, okay, I think probably I know enough about cybersecurity. I have dealt with different incidents and I have groomed myself enough that I can right away grow to the next path. Or you might also feel that, okay, I think I really have the basics. Now, having a degree might give me an edge. And once I come back, I'll rather come back with a bang, with a better experience, with a better degree. So you can choose your trajectory however you want.
One thing that I have, I can add, slightly more generic, is masters, and the next step around that, the PhD. It is a specialization.
Yes.
So if you get yourself some experience, some relevant experience it will help you make that decision as well. People who jump from, say, being a fresher going directly to a master's, you will be again making a more generic choice. If you spend a couple of years getting the experience, you understand the kind of difference it will bring, not only to your research about what kind of a master program you need, what kind of a specialization, what kind of a career track you need. Also, just think of the difference it will bring when you write the essays for the masters. Because you will understand so much about the domain compared to somebody who does not. So even for people who go for MBA, the world's best MBA programs are where people have experience. So having relevant experience does help you. Why? Because it will help your decision making much better. So the decision that you will make will be more informed. So you can choose whatever if you want to go for a master's, or you can get into a job. But my personal opinion, and Parul as well, is that if you get some experience, you learn on the job, then make a decision about it. It would be more beneficial.
You'll get a perspective that what really what you want to do.
Yes. So there is one question around CISM. Is it mandatory to have prior experience to appear for CISM?
I think CISM is not an entry-level certification. That is for managerial level.
Mhm.
So somebody for a fresher experience, I would not recommend that certification, because these certifications like CISM, CISA, CISSP, all of these, they have certain prerequisites like 3 to 5 years of industry experience, or having a master plus 2 years of experience and things like that. So yeah, and that definitely has a certain level of prerequisites. You can probably check on the site, but for a fresher, that is something which is not recommended.
There's a very interesting question from Hansraj. He says, ma'am, can you give a real life example of a problem you solved as an expert?
Okay, Hansraj. Thanks for bringing that up, and sorry for throwing it back again to you. So you might be seeing a lot of emails come into your inbox that you have won this lottery, click here to redeem the discount or get money into your account. So there can be a lot of different scenarios when it comes to industry. So let's say when we are in an organization, we are working on specific tools, we are working with different business vendors. I get a invoice email that, hello, thanks for doing business with us last week. We have come to a commitment, and here's your invoice. Please click on that link, give these details, and wire the money to so and so account. What would you do in this case? Now you know that the person that has sent the mail that has come from an external domain, you're not aware if that email is legitimate or not. And an employee who is not cyber aware, it will end up clicking that email. You will give your bank details, and you know what is going to happen next, right? So these kind of things happen even in corporate scenarios, and we call it phishing. So how are you going to deal about it, right? So maybe let's say I clicked on that phishing email. So I should have such defenses in place that whenever I click on a URL, it does the sandboxing. I mean, how do I put it in layman words? It would scan the URL in a virtual machine before the employee can actually hit the URL. And if the virtual machine says this is a bad URL, that will be blocked immediately. The employee would not be able to access it, right? So this was one very generic scenario, and there are thousands of attacks that you can deal with. Let's say you want to purchase something on Amazon, but the site is down, right? Who's responsible for it? Because I, as an attacker, sent, let's say, 50,000 requests on that site at that moment, and the server is not able to, handle it. So it is not eligible. I mean, available for legitimate users. So Amazon is losing its business. These are the things that you might be looking forward to protect when you are into cybersecurity.
Okay. So Ankit has a question that he's from an OT background, and okay, so many IT companies are jumping into ICS cybersecurity. What are the job prospects available for an OT engineer to work in ICS cybersecurity?
Yeah, so with ICS and SCADA systems coming into picture, and with the Internet of Things, all of these things are really, having that overlap, that how do you secure these systems as well. So there are different kind of protocols and technologies that are designed specifically for the industrial control systems. For that, might probably need to start, let's say, from in the ICS space itself. There are different set of certifications and program courses. I mean, yeah, we can probably take that in detail because someday later, because that would mean a very different approach from what we are currently discussing.
Okay. So does CCNA come under cybersecurity? There is a question around that.
Yeah, so CCNA is basically your cybersecurity network associate.
Mhm.
So that's a certification provided by Cisco. Good for someone who is targeting network security out there.
So there's this question from Parth. He's a BCA and he's an MSc in digital forensic. Okay. And he wants to start a career in security analysis, and he wants to start with either an internship or a trainee job. How can he get that started?
So I think, yeah, summer internships are something which is really a good thing to target at. And also, I think you said he's already MSc in digital forensics. So he already has a lot of background on malware analysis and forensic part of the cybersecurity. So I would suggest that, I mean, there are a lot of internships that get released every year. Keep looking for that. I mean, there are a lot of different portals, even via LinkedIn, as I was mentioning before. You can reach out to different mentors, right? And showcase them that, okay, this is the skill I possess and this is what I'm interested in. Do you have any programs coming up? For example, in my ex-organization, we used to have this kind of summer training for freshers from where we used to do our hiring, depending on, what have they learned. So there are a lot of organizations that do corporate trainings on such cybersecurity as well. So if you're looking or getting associated with such training programs, and I think Antwork is also trying to do a similar thing where you are, getting in touch for getting foundation basics, and then as a part of the program, you further go assist them with internships and placements as well. So there are a lot of such options out there.
So there is question from Darshan that what are the platforms to find cybersecurity jobs like LinkedIn? So Darshan, one thing is that, of course, there are job portals. We have a dedicated job board as well on cybersecurity where Antwork, you can follow the cybersecurity job board by Antwork, where we regularly post the regular jobs that different companies have. And we have a lot of hiring partners. As we said, we have more than 3,000 professionals from 30 plus countries, and they work in all the top global brands, So you name a global brand, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Uber, people are there from those companies who are contributing their knowledge on Antwork. We collate a lot of those jobs, we put it on our job board, and the intent is people who will be part of our cybersecurity program, we will provide them placement assistance, where we will arrange for you to get jobs in your domain of interest, right? So we have more than 100 hiring partners with us. Once the program is complete, towards the end of the program, your resume will be, of course, you will be helped to prepare your resume. How do you improve your resume? You will be given interview tips, how to ace interviews, and then your resumes will be shared with our hiring partners, and you will be given placement assistance. So that is one benefit that comes with this program as well. And along with that, I'm very sure somebody will post the job board link in the chat group. We have a dedicated cybersecurity job board, which you can follow to get dedicated jobs related to cybersecurity. Okay. So there's a question by Syed Usmani. He says that he's a non-IT professional looking for entry in cybersecurity. His focus is on penetration testing in the longer run. will Indian Buck County and Recon courses help me in cracking an interview, and will I get my first job? Or does he need to also learn web development and other things first?
Yeah, Sayed. So, I mean, so you are trying to build your career into penetration testing, and you are from a non-IT background, as you said. So, I think the first thing that we already discussed, you need to have foundation courses, or you need to brush up your skills really on the foundation, because penetration testing is a very specific domain where you are hunting for very specific threats into, let's say, applications. So yes, having a development application development background would certainly help, so you can let learn at least a bit on the, let's say, scripting side, on the application development side. That might give you a little bit more perspective and more you would think that, okay, in the application development scenario, these 5 steps happen. So now, when you wear the hat of the hacker, you know that, okay, these are the 5 things I can actually target when I'm trying to intrude. So that will give you a perspective.
So there is a similar same question. Second part of the same question by Syed Usmani is, how do I answer the questions, the tricky part in the interview questions, like why do you want to get into cybersecurity and why are you making the transition, or the question like why should I hire a candidate like you?
Okay, so why should I hire a candidate like you is something that I ask as well, but this is something which is the closure of your interview. So if you have already showcased your skills throughout the interview, what I'm looking forward to, you can just put again, reiterate the same, that, ma'am, I really am interested. I have shown that interest that you see on my resume. I have done this course. You have asked me these questions. I know, and I am really looking forward to actually get my hands dirty in the real world. So, do not worry about that last question. But if you have to really answer that, what is motivating you for cybersecurity? I think we have covered all those points throughout this call. That this is the need of the hour. This is something that interests me. This is something which is really lucrative. This is something. In the long run, I will not get bored out of it. There is something new to learn every day. There are at least 10 reasons that you can give that why you want to be a part of cybersecurity.
Right. It is essentially, if you have the skills enough, then you can definitely, moving into cybersecurity, everybody, the final responsibility or the allegiance that you owe is to yourself. You are entitled to make a very good career for yourself, and you are entitled to get the career progression that you desire. You are also entitled to work in a career that you feel will be more rewarding and also personally satisfying. So if you, in either ways, if you feel that it is either more financially rewarding, you can very well say that in a interview. There's nothing wrong in saying that as well. And suddenly, I know people for whom cybersecurity is a passion. I know school kids who start doing some kind of a hacking and learning different aspects of these. So if you have a passion, both the passion and career progression is a very good why you should move into cybersecurity. If you have right skills, then answering that would be different. And as I said, the next question around, so with all these nice tricky questions, we have a module around interview preparation in the cybersecurity bootcamp as well, where all these nice tricky questions, how do you answer about, tell me a little about yourself, what are your biggest strengths, tell me about your biggest accomplishments, why should I hire you, and all these questions, when people hire, they ask these questions, it is not the exact answer that they're looking for, and there is no right or wrong answer for that. It is essentially, how do you structure your thought, how do you think in that moment, and how do you answer to that. So it is more of a tricky question to check your critical thinking abilities rather than the answer itself. If you say that, why should I hire you, you say that I'm a good candidate, it's not the right answer, it's not the wrong answer either, right? So you need to be a little more on the feet thinking is required, and you will get a lot of these helps in the cybersecurity program that we have. There is a question by Anjali again. Anjali says that she is currently a third year mechatronics engineering student. She's interested in taking cybersecurity as a career, and she's learning side by side. Okay, she has again question on CEH, which we have taken. But the second part of the question is, what advice would you give to a beginner like me?
I think if you have heard the session from the beginning, these are all beginner advices that we have been talking about. And I think with mechatronics, you in your third year, right? So in third and fourth year, you have options of choosing your elective subject. So you can take if your college provides computer networks or cyber science, things like that. That will be an add-on to showcase in your resume that see I come from a mechatronics background, but you see what are my elective subjects? They are based on cyber security. So yeah, +1 for your interest right away there.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of little bit things that actually make bigger impact.
Okay. So Vivek Tripathi has a question: which domain of cybersecurity has the highest salary package? Okay.
Vivek, I mean, it's not the domain that gives you your salary. It's your skill set that would give you. If I'm an average cybersecurity analyst, but I'm a really good penetration tester, who do you think would earn more? So that's how it works.
Right. There are questions around certifications. Or can a fresher do ISO 27001 without experience? See, let me put this, and I understand that cybersecurity certifications are important, but for a fresher, what is more important? Should we directly focus on getting the relevant certifications, or would you see that you spend some time, get experience, and then think? Because the more certifications you do, you will be pointing in a certain direction in your career.
And also the kind of expectation setting that you want to do, right? So if you say that I'm an ISO certified architect, so now I want to know all the 38 compliance strategies that come under the ISO umbrella. Although you do not know what are those compliances are made for, what are they trying to protect, what is the policy like, but you have that certification that, okay, I'm an ISO certified, take me. Or maybe you come to me saying, yeah, I'm a Splunk certified architect, but do you know why are we using Splunk? What is our requirements and use cases? So, I mean, you will be classified as an expert on that domain when you are saying that, okay, I have this certification. But make sure when you are taking such things, it is not just for the sake of it. You should be able to answer your question on that, because with greater, with greater opportunity comes the more responsibility as well, right?
So this is something very important about certifications. I come from a background in finance, and there again, certifications do matter. But certifications alone, it is you are trying to punch above your weight, and if it is not, you don't have the necessary knowledge that is required. Certifications is passing the exam, then having the experiential knowledge, right? So if you do not have the experiential knowledge of having done things, having understood stuff, just the certifications possibly will not help. Hence the focused on getting the knowledge, getting the experience first, right? And once you have that, then experiences they start. Then you can start leveraging your experiences with certifications.
I would rather suggest these certifications, how the process is like. You first take up the training and then you write the exam. So focus majorly on the training. If you have understood the training in the right way, even if you do not pass the exam, you know that, okay, there were, let's say, 50 questions in the exam, and to pass the exam, you have to answer 40 mandatory questions. But if I myself know I have answered 30 in a good way, 30 answers correct, I know that I've gained some knowledge. That is going to help me in my career, not those remaining 10 questions which I missed to pass the exam. So that is the kind of attitude you should have.
Yeah. And one thing is, from a professional experience, you guys know, most of the people who have joined are freshers, is when you enter a professional world, you will always find one guy who doesn't have any certification, but he's still the biggest performer. So it is, at the end of the day, it is about your skills, your competencies, and what you know. Certifications are a way of telling the world that you know things. And if you're really good at your work, you will be able to tell that even without certifications.
Right.
And when you enter the each of the domains, you realize the world is a very small place. You know, after 3 to 4 years of having worked in a, you don't go for interviews. It is majorly through people who you have worked with, people who can give you your ex-boss who moves to the different companies. So it is a very small network of people who know how you work and who know skills that you have. So the focus is should always be on skills rather than certification. Certifications having be done on right time will definitely leverage your career, but it needs to be backed by proper skills. So please always focus on the skills. Certifications you can always do. Right? Okay.
I think
So Vaibhav has a question again, and Aditya has replied to him. So what is the average pay package for freshers? Aditya says package is never constant focus on learning being a fresher. Okay, so the chat group has answered it. But as a fresher, from a college guy, I understand that IT. I have a ballpark figure when I get into the IT. I know what Cognizant, Infosys, and TCS of the world pays. Is there a ballpark figure that people can expect when they get into cybersecurity?
So I think the ballpark figure somewhere lies in a similar domain, similar range that we already discussed, depending on what the organization that you're targeting. If when you're saying companies like Cognizant, TCS, Accenture, and all, so yeah, 3 to 7 is something that you can expect.
Right. Okay. There is also a question around which I think some
And
students.
I think just to, complete the previous answer, as a fresher, if you're expecting a lot of salary, you have right now not showcased your skills yet.
Yes.
Maybe once you entered your organization, within first year hike, your first year appraisal, you can even get 40% hike if you're really good. So
Mhm.
have that mindset that if your skills are really good, money will never be a problem.
So those I don't know if you guys joined in later, but Parul got a almost 90% hike when she did her first job, and that was after 2 years in this. So uh, as a fresher, your first goal should be to get into a job that you like, then perform at the job. Salary will follow, and so if you are good at your job, salaries will follow. Even I tell people who are, there are questions on what kind of a projects they should do to put on a resume, what kind of internship that you guys should do. Putting some, of course, we'll ask Parul to answer that question, what kind of a project and internship people should do. But from my side, what I would say is whenever you get an opportunity you like, even if it doesn't pay anything, please go ahead and take it. As a fresher, as a college student, you should get all the good opportunities that come your way. You put it on your resume, you get your first job, you perform really well at your job. Money will just be a byproduct. If you have a good career journey, you will make money. There's nobody who has a very successful career who's really good at job and doesn't make money. So that is my 2 cents. And what suggestion would you have for people who want to do some projects, internships?
Yeah, so I think that reminds me of my college days, and I know there are a lot of college events like hackathons. I
Yeah.
mean, this buzzword is all around that we are conducting a hackathon, and you will be given business problems, and you're supposed to come up with a solution. Even if you are not able to win it, even if you are not, just go there, participate in such events. You will get a perspective that what other people are doing. If you're planning to have an internship, if you're getting even, like, I know there are even small firms that put up their webinars or seminars. Go understand what people are doing, what is happening in the cybersecurity world. Right, there are a lot of free labs, like hackathons are being conducted. Even product vendors, for example, I listed a number of different domains, right? So how do these people work with? They work on different products. Those product companies, they want more people to come into that space so that they have skilled professionals to keep the industry going. And so, go attend such events, do your workshops, and there are a lot of free labs over there. You have portals like even Udemy, or even Antwork is planning to have, the real life training on your tools like Burp Suite, or a complete experience on different tools. So be it paid, even if you're not getting a stipend, what you're getting is more than that, and that's experience which you will take forward in your journey of cybersecurity. So yeah, there are a lot of events. So start checking up for all of those on different forums, or even if I think even a Google search can land up you. As of today, even a base Google search can land you up in really good events.
Right, right. So there are questions around tools. So what are the tools that can help you? So as part of the cybersecurity bootcamp, you will get hands-on experience on Burpsuit, Wireshark, Nmap, Autopsy, OWASP, Zap. Let me talk about the Antwork cybersecurity program. I know there are a lot of people who are interested in that program. So the first this cybersecurity program, as I had told you earlier as well, is delivered by cybersecurity professionals, people who have been working in this field for quite some time. People who have 8 to 10 years of experience in this field. So let me just present my screen. I was looking at the chat window, but I'll kind of put that out. So the first thing is you will learn from industry leaders, not from academicians. People who implement this day in and day out, who know the corner cases, people who know what are the tricky situations you can get into, people who can share their learnings from these tricky situations. For an example, our class on malware will be taken by a guy who was on the receiving end of WannaCry ransomware attack. So these kind of experts we are bringing, people who have hands-on experience. Okay, compared to other programs which are majorly pre-recorded videos, our program is 100% live. So it is an experiential program, 100% live. Saturdays and Sundays you will have classes. Okay, the experts who come, they will endorse your skill. It's not just you writing an exams, getting certified, but these experts will endorse the kind of skill that you get in the class, right? Parul also mentioned that it's not just about your technical knowledge. It is about your communication. You'll be working in a team. You'll be working with multiple guys. You have a team that you have a tech team, you have a front end team, you have an operations team. You will have to work with multiple teams. So you need to understand teamwork, stakeholder management, problem solving skills, critical thinking, how creative you are, how innovative you are to your solutions. All these holistic skills will be taught. Of course, you will have wonderful mentors from companies like Atos, Symantec, HCL, Infosys, and you will get live interview sessions. So you will have how to crack those interviews, how do you upgrade your resume, how to have a good social media presence. So this entire program is for 16 weeks where you will have more than 100 live sessions. You will have 10 plus projects. You will have one-on-one mentorship session with industry leaders. You will get mock interviews as part of this. And we have shared the link. We have shared the link in the chat. You use the link, you use the promo code of Parul, you will get 10% additional discount on this program. So we are launching it on May 1st. And it is a fast filling program. We have very few limited seats available for this program now. If you do a little, if you are delayed, you can possibly also enroll for the next batch. If the current batch gets filled in some time, we'll be launching another program in 1.5 months. So if you want to be part of this cohort, please register today, right? And if you have any questions, we are ready to take one parting questions. Otherwise, Parul, thank you so much. You have taken all the questions. You have answered them very candidly and with a lot of insight, personal insight as well. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, the pleasure is always both sides, and yeah, I'm really glad to be a part of this. And whoever has joined, I really wish them really all the best in their cybersecurity career. And you can reach out to me as well on LinkedIn if you have any further questions. You can reach out to Antwork. You can give them your remaining questions. And I myself has gone through the curriculum that Antwork has prepared. And I must say, it really covers really niche skills and very good foundations on different areas of cybersecurity. So even if going forward you want to hit one particular hammer, one particular nail, I think you'll be good to go. So kudos on that. And probably if you join the course, you might see that.
Yes, definitely. So I would look forward for some people to be part of the program. In fact, all of you, and irrespective of you join this course, but you can always benefit from Antwork. Antwork has more than 200 cybersecurity professionals alone on the platform. You can go visit Antwork. You can benefit for the knowledge that is there available there. We have a lot of sessions that we conduct every week. We have a next session on 14th of April, which will it is coming up by Anup Khopkar. We have sessions coming up. All those who have joined, take good care of yourself. These are troubled times. We are back in the corona times. So take good care of yourself uh, and take good care of your careers. So you have a responsibility to make a good career for yourself, your parents, and your family. So take good decisions, take informed decisions, learn from experts, and your career will be always in the right direction. So wishing all who had joined, including Parul, thank you so much for being part of this masterclass. You guys have a good day.
Everyone, have a good day. Bye.
Bye.